peak at the top of the game, above the rest of the competition. That is the only sophisticated way anyone could talk about the second season of Arcane. Everything about it was just plain insane. The animation, soundtrack, narrative, it pretty much set it itself as a classic you should at least watch once in your lifetime. The characters themselves also were great, but no one comes close to how goated my boy Ekko was in the second season of Arcane. This absolute unit of a man is the sole reason we got the insane conclusion of Arcane, and not only that, but he has also shown that none other than him could dare to claim the status of all-time GOAT of this show. So let's not waste our time and get into how Ekko became the MVP of Season 2. Oh, that's what I would like to say if it wasn't for the first two acts. Before we can really get into all of the cool things Ekko does, we also have to acknowledge the first two acts where he just kind of is a side character in a subplot of a story. But well, that doesn't undermine how crucial my boy was, because without him, they would not even have found out about the anomaly in the first place, so he already was pulling his weight back in the first two acts. And it's really by the start of Act 3 where we just see that Ekko is that nigga. Ekko transported in an alternate universe sees our world that could have been. In that world, the Sun Knights and Piltovians lived in peace. Vander and Silco, well, they survived, with them having forgiven each other and being friends again. Even the two other irrelevant kids whose names I've forgotten have survived. But the biggest change was that his mentor and father figure Benzo survived and Powder never became Jinx. The only negative change was that Vi had died when searching Jace's study, and that death caused Jace to stop his research on Hextech. But no Hextech also meant that Ekko and Heimer would not be able to go back to their original universe. But it really was anything but bad, because my boy Ekko was living the dream. He lived in a world where they didn't have to suffer, a world where peace between the underworld and above ground existed. The people he cared about all had survived minus Vi, and Powder, the girl he loved most, never went down the dark roads. They were partners, and that probably was the greatest ending Ekko could have hoped for. And that is where you start to see just how great this man is. He had it all: his girlfriend, mentor and father figure, friends and a world in peace. There were no dangers lurking over his head, and the world had no hextech, so no corruption by the Arcane. And this legend still decided to go back to his own timeline. With the combined genius of him, Heimer and Powder, they were able to recreate the anomaly, and Ekko gained his time-winding powers. I just really want to recontextualize how heavy this choice was to make. Imagine being able to live your life with all your loved ones in peace, and throwing all of that away because you know that others need you. Just think of the dance sequence he and Powder had, all the fun he had with her, all the love he felt for her. Just think about when they kissed, man, bro. My man was in love! And still gave it up so he could save his friends and all the other people. Bro is just that selfless and heroic. A genuine inspiration. The last episode of Arcane starts with Jinx, and let's just say that she decided to make it so she never would be able to queue up another League game again. And my GOAT, no, scrap that bro, my king came just at the right time to help her out of that dark place. Preventing her from killing herself not once, not twice, but 5 times. Bro tanked the blast of the explosion 3 times just to talk her out of ending her own life. That's when I really understood that Ekko was a king. And now the finale happens, and my man Ekko was locked in. As everything seemed to be lost at the time, he flew in with Jinx, the Firelights and the rest of the resistance, turning the tide of the battle. And my man started to show everyone why they called him the boy savior. First by flying in and beating the lights out of this giant, afterwards saving Vi from the Noxian soldiers and then saving both Jinx and Vi from Vander. He straight up started carrying the crew like Messi carried Barca and Argentina at his peak. But here comes Ekko's play of the game. When Victor took a hold of the anomaly, Jace tried to stop him, which he failed in. And so Jace stood in the same stance he saw the other Jace in the other timeline, accepting that they had lost. With no one standing in his way anymore, Victor started to take over everyone's minds. Everyone but our GOAT, the boy savior himself, my King Ekko. And that nigga went on to having what I would say was the coolest sequence of Arcane. My man flew through a literal army of robot monsters, giving a stellar performance, dodging, hitting and fighting, almost reaching Victor before getting hit, but that man did not care and went back in time. Bro was an actual beast passing through all these monsters before getting caught in a swarm, and he couldn't turn back far enough to get out of their grasp. But the second I thought he was done for, Ekko pushed back the limits of the machine to go back to when he was in front of Victor. And if you somehow forgot why this is batshit insane, remember that this is what happened to Heimer when Ekko went over the limit of 4 seconds. Anyways, Ekko went back and threw the unstable machine at Victor with the mini anomaly exploding right in front of him, which cut off his link to everyone he took over. Thanks to that humongous last push, Jace was able to talk no jutsu Victor into stopping all of this madness, and they saved the rest of the cast by getting rid of the exploding anomaly together, leaving only the 2 of them to disappear. Ekko was the main reason why this timeline was able to survive. But sadly, him saving the timeline was not enough for him to have his own happy ending. Because of Vi, Jinx had to sacrifice herself to save her big sister from Vander, leaving Ekko with a saved Piltover and Zaun, but once again losing the girl he loved. And like that, Ekko ended the series as the uncontested best character in my book. Genuinely, I can't tell you how much I love what he went through in the alternate universe. A man who had lost his home, his mentor, his friends and the girl he liked was given the chance to live out his life in an alternate reality, but he still decided to go back to a world of pain to try and better it. So to go back over Ekko's stellar performance, he spotted the corruption and was the reason they discovered the anomaly, gave up his happiness in the alternate universe to go back and help his original world, convinced Jinx not to kill herself, saved Piltover and Zaun with his entrance, bringing Jinx and the other Firelights to the fight, helped fight off Warwick and saved Vi's life, was the only one not to get taken over by Victor and went on a last stand against him, saving the day by going back in time and cutting his control over everyone else. All in all, he was the MVP on some pie Messi or LeBron timing, truly deserving the status of GOAT. Anyways, like, subscribe and comment, go check my AOT video if you've watched the show, it's the best video I've made to date. I mainly make gaming and anime related content, but I also like delving into topics I'm passionate about. Well, this was Arcane, until next time.